All right, it's working.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sure it's going to be worth the wait for all the people that have been waiting for this live. I think it's an amazing opportunity. I'd like to introduce Louise Sawicki, who's a holistic fertility specialist. Hello.
How are you?
Hypnotherapist, mindset coach, so many titles.
How are you? Better
I'm
late than
well. A disclaimer. I joined Instagram like properly only a few months ago and started looking for what's out there in the fertility realm, and I encountered your page, and I shouldn't say hypnotized, because that's, I think in your context has a different meaning, but I think I was really mesmerized by your content and approach that you have to fertility and fertility treatment and patients undergoing fertility treatments. So I think I want to thank you for making the time to meet today to have a discussion and talk about things that you do. I think we're having some sound difficulties. I don't know if it's from your end, but it sounds a bit.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Yeah.
Okay. Is that all right?
Okay. Let's hope it's good enough. So, Louise, tell us a little bit about what you do.
I guess a little bit of background on me and kind of where I started and where I am now. A fact a lot of people find really extraordinary about me is the fact that I had 3 kids in 3 years. And I guess the reason they find that so extraordinary is the fact that I battled infertility for 6 long years before becoming a mum. And it was really through this life-changing transformational journey that I found my passion and my purpose, and I now support and coach women in business who are suffering infertility, who are just can't realise their dreams of becoming a mum. And I guess my reach is now global. I'm the head of development for the European Fertility Society, but my passion and my purpose remain really personal, and that's really important to me.
Yeah, I think when it touches you in your own life, you get a different perspective. Also, as a professional, I found that only when I became a patient, I was able to view things in a different perspective. And I think you have got a very unique perspective. But originally, you come from a different world. How does that relate and connect to what you do?
I guess my background is business development. I work for a legal transcription company, so it couldn't be more chalk and cheese if you tried. But it was really, I guess, I although I had a very successful career, I was never really truly happy. I just hadn't found my passion, and it was really, I guess I came across my passion, and I just stumbled across it, obviously, when I was struggling to conceive. And, we battled for 6 long years, and I just was not falling pregnant. We did everything and nothing was working. I hit rock bottom physically, emotionally, celiac disease, adrenal fatigue, chronic fatigue, depression. It was bad. And my fertility specialist said to me at the time, I can't see you for 6 months. You need to sort out your mental health. And so it was that, although at the time I was devastated, it was the best thing that she could have ever done for me, because it forced me to really look within. And I spent 6 months healing my mind and my body. And it was 6 months to the day that I walked out of the fertility specialist office that I walked back in, and she took a round of blood tests for the next round of IVF. And obviously one of those is a pregnancy test. And she called me the next day and she said, "You're pregnant, Lou." And I just couldn't believe it. And I guess it was at that point, that was really one of the life-changing points in my life, because the penny dropped. I was like, hang on, this mind-body connection, there's something there. And if it can help me, it can help others. And finally, after 35 years, I'd finally found what I truly wanted to do.
Yeah, that's an amazing story and a beautiful one. So, there's so much to cover in terms of what you do, but let's try to break it down a little bit, because people come and see me, they know I'm a doctor, they know what kind of things to expect in their relationship with me and what kind of treatments I provide. My role is to provide evidence-based medicine, to try to tailor the best approach to treat the person medically. But I am limited, I feel, in my ability to relate to the most deep emotional body, mind, soul areas in my encounters with my patients. I try, I do admit, but this is not the field of my expertise. And I think that's why people like yourself, who do such an important job that complements as we work together with patients to try to achieve the best outcome. So can you tell me a little bit about fertility support? What's NLP? What's hypnosis, coaching? Just some information for some of our viewers who don't have any background exposure to this.
I guess, I mean, a broad overview is I really look at supporting your mindset and your mental health through the process. So, you know, I work really effectively, obviously, with fertility specialists like yourself. I help. So, I mean, I guess a broad overview is I like to think of it, I'm your cheerleader for one of life's toughest challenges. I'm there to support you. I'm there to give you proven tools and techniques to really support your mindset, to change your thinking regarding your fertility journey. Because after all, you know, if we've been on our fertility journey for a while, there's a lot of negative thoughts that come into play. There's a lot of emotions that become overwhelming. The fear becomes paralyzing, anxiety. You know, you start to feel like your body's broken. Will you ever become a mum? Why me? You know, why is this not working? And all of these thoughts over time can be quite detrimental to your fertility journey. So I support you to really look at where these thought processes have come from and really changing your thinking, transforming your mindset. So I take you from a place of feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, fearful, just completely consumed with your fertility journey, to a place of calm and confidence with a changed thinking, knowing that you will become a mum when the time is right. And what that looks like for some of us is a lot different to what we think. But if you can really, I truly believe, if you can get yourself to a place where you believe in your gut, in your nervous system, that you will become a mum when the time is right, then it's from that place that miracles happen and dreams come true. And I truly believe that. And sometimes that looks a bit different. Sometimes that might be not quite what you thought it would look like, but I do believe once you get to that place where you've reconnected your heart with your head, you're truly happy again. You found your joy. You found that joy that's been lost sometimes through years of infertility. That whatever the next step is for you will happen.
Yeah, and that's so beautifully said. Look, in my years of practicing, I've encountered thousands of patients, and their personal experience of their fertility journey is so different. And sometimes the type of treatments that we provide as specialists sometimes is impersonal, and we need to address the personal journey. We need to address the personal issues and how to manage failures, how to manage success, how to manage the emotional roller coaster of fertility treatments. And I find your job to be so important. But for
really
viewers, maybe you can comment a little bit, because the different providers that offer support in fertility treatments. And I think the key point is, you mentioned that you provide evidence-based tools. Can you elaborate a little bit more about how that differs from other modalities of support, and what do your sessions look like? And yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess it's really, for me, when I start to see a client, it's really about supporting that client to a place where they are empowered and they understand that they actually do have control over their mindset and their mind, because your mind can be your worst enemy or it can be your best friend. So in order to do that, you really need to support your clients or my clients with the proper tools and techniques. So, I guess it's really about, number one, is really about learning to control your nervous system, because it's really difficult or near impossible to really put the mindset tools in place and change your mindset transfer if you're living in a state of constant stress response, fight, flight. Your mind is overwhelmed. So number one, it's really about learning how to control your nervous system, and it's really about different techniques, including different breathing techniques, different mindfulness techniques. It's about learning that your mind can't think a negative and a positive at the same time. So really employing different tools to help you consciously, when you are starting to go down that negative path, change your state, switch your thinking to a positive thought. So it's about these kind of everyday tools that you can employ at home that really do change your state in an instant, and they will help to start to calm your nervous system and start to regulate your body, regulate your stress response. And then once we can get you to a place where we can start to calm your mind, then we allow space for mindset transformation. And that is done through hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, and a bit of NLP as well, and coaching. So it's really about changing the way that you're viewing your fertility journey. It's about changing the story that you're telling yourself. It's about changing the language you're telling yourself. And that is best done through, well, I use NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnotherapy are amazing, a combination together. It's just, they're absolutely transformational. And it's about really like I said, changing your story. And then once we can do that, my clients then have the tool set. I actually give my client, we sit down and we write a list of, say, 5 to 10 tools that they have in their toolkit. So when they feel themselves at home starting to fall back into a negative thought pattern, or something comes up and they're overly triggered, or there's a bit of PTSD or something like that, then they've got their tools. And a lot of these the tools can include, like I said, there's different breathing techniques, there's different visualization techniques. There's also learning to just be still in the moment, be present in the moment. Because if you're present in the moment, then you can't feel fear, you can't feel anxiety, you can't be stressed, because they're all future emotions. So learning to be present. And all of these tools have been proven to help you calm your nervous system, change your state, and provide space for transformation. And that's what it's all about. And it's just about implementing. It's baby steps. I mean, you can't just do it all at once. So over the course of, say, a couple of months, it's about really learning to implement these tools, and soon it becomes second nature. And then all of a sudden you realise that your fertility journey isn't consuming your life anymore and your thoughts. You're able to go about your life. You're able to wake up in the morning and be happy, but also on your fertility journey at the same time, because you are empowered. You are in control of your mind.
Yeah. And a lot of this is to do with easing of stress and anxiety, which is really important for a person's well-being. But also from my perspective as a clinician, we know that stress and anxiety has an impact on fertility treatments in many ways. Apart from, we know the most most detrimental reason for not succeeding in fertility treatment is stopping because of overwhelming anxiety and stress. But also, there's, I think, originally being educated in the fertility world, we've been educated to say that stress probably does not impact success rates. But now there's new emerging evidence that actually this is probably not 100% correct. And we know that stress can potentially impact in a very basic biological level on gametes, so eggs and sperm. And there's emerging evidence, although still preliminary, to suggest that our initial paradigm suggesting that stress does not impact success rates is probably not correct. But it's not all about just succeeding. It's about how you go through the journey, how you cope with all the stress and anxiety that relate to fertility treatments. So I think that's where your role is so important, and our role as people who are supporting these patients undergoing fertility treatments. I wanted to ask you, what kind of advice would you give a woman or a couple, it can be a man as well, struggling with mental health and anxiety while they're trying to conceive? What kind of...
Number one is, unfortunately, as humans, we seem to wait till we hit rock bottom before we do something about it. We just keep pushing through. We just think, if we keep going, we're strong, we'll get there eventually. But really, I think it should be done at the beginning. When you go to the GP and you say, I want to start trying for a baby, and they take a lot of blood work, it should be also doing a mental health check-in at the same time and say, how's my mental health? Is there anything that really I could be working on here, or I need to work on? And I think my one piece of advice would be, don't wait till you hit rock bottom. If you feel like you are not coping, if you're consumed with the thought of your fertility journey day and night, when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you think of, going to bed at night, if in your gut you feel that really like that heaviness, then it's so important to not wait. Do something about it now. I guess it takes work, but I think it's making the decision to do it is the hardest bit. I think it's most people are paralysed with fear, because it's like, well, if I open Pandora's box, what am I going to find? And it's just another thing, another expense. It's too much. I'm already overwhelmed. But the thing is, when you look at your mental health and you start to do the work and you start to heal your mind, then it's funny how it's not funny, but the overwhelm starts to disappear and you start to feel empowered. You feel in control again. You feel like you're back in control of your body and your fertility journey and everything else in your life, because it's the mental clutter and the overwhelm and the stress and the anxiety and the stress that everything is going absolutely AWOL on your body. That's causing the overwhelm, and that's what's making you feel like you can't take on this other job or another thing that you have to do. But the thing is, and I always tell all of my clients, what's worse, really, not doing something now or waiting 12 months and being in the same position or worse, because your mental health is probably gone downhill and all of the feelings that you're feeling now will have been magnified in 12 months' time. So I really urge anyone who is watching and they feel like their mental health is starting to be affected, to do something about it tomorrow, because you won't regret it. It will only help, and it will just make you a happier person. Like, it will make you like a better version of yourself. It will make you a better partner. It will make you a better friend, family member, workmate. Like, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I'm seeing a client at the moment. I've only been seeing her for 6 weeks, and she told me yesterday she was pregnant after 6 weeks, which is so exciting. But she came to me after a miscarriage, but she came to me, she hadn't reached rock bottom. She came to me, she said, Lou, I feel like there's some stuff that I need to address before I can move forward. But she wasn't at rock bottom, and she came to me and she had an open heart and a willingness to heal, and a willingness to learn, and a willingness to transform. And we've seen such amazing results. In 6 weeks, she's pregnant. Like, it's just, I think, just don't wait till you hit rock bottom, because it's so much harder once you're at that place.
Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they find you?
I'm Louise Sawicki on all of my socials. I think I'm the only one in Australia, and there's not many of us in the world, I don't think. So just look me up. My website is www.louisesawicki.com, and I actually host a free virtual coffee date catch-up once a month. So if you're interested in getting to know a bit about me and our journey, my journey, what I do, and joining a community of women who are on the same journey as you. It's such a wonderful community of some amazing women, and that would be if it's something you're interested in, joining that community would be your first step.
I can't thank you enough for making the time to meet today. I've told you this when we spoke and when we met previously, and that I think that what you're doing is really, really important and it's fantastic. And from my perspective, seeing how patients go through fertility treatments, I can't agree enough with the statement that we all need support in one form or another. And don't wait till you hit rock bottom to you seek such support. I think it has to be incorporated as part of fertility treatments. We try to provide that through the services we provide here at Melbourne IVF. We have a counselling team, and I always try to be attentive and supportive, but sometimes it's not enough. And it's up to the patients to try to recognize the moment where they feel like they need more support and address those needs. And it helps reduce anxiety and stress and help them go through these treatments and through the fertility journey in a much better conscious state, happier state, more content state. And at the end of the day, I think, as we always said, it's about achieving success, but it's also about the process. It's about the journey.
Thank you so much for having me on, and I agree with everything you said, and I really appreciate your kind words. And I think together, if we can all work together, the success is just so much, greater. And I think working together as a team, we are so much stronger. And it means that there's so many more women out there that will see the success that they so dearly desire.
I agree. With that note, have a great weekend, and thank you for your time. And of course, we will continue to be in touch. For everyone who joined us, or for everyone who's going to be watching this later on, thank you for listening. And you can find a link to Louise's Instagram, and from there you can find ways to reach out to her. Thank you, Lou.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, guys. See you later.
Bye.